What's happening, YouTube? Sandy Spice of the Blues Goddess, aka yes, I am back today with something I want to call super powerful information that the Most High put on my heart. So, here we go. To whom much is given, much is required. Yeah, I took a quote from the Bible. I do that from time to time because it's a lot of good stuff in there. But my brothers and sisters, you must know he is way deeper than 66 books. 66 books is a very brief introduction to who he is. But if you want to get into the core of the I am, and always will be forevermore, you're going to have to dig a little deeper, because 66 books don't do him no justice. And I know a lot of y'all out there mad about what I just said, but it's the truth. 66 books don't even begin to describe who he is. To whom much is given, much is required. And the real truth about why a lot of us are out here still struggling and why we don't have a lot, because he already know you ain't willing to give a lot. You ain't willing to give an inch. A lot of us already been tested. You know who you are. You already been given lump sums of money in the thousands. You done won lawsuits. You done hit the lottery. God done bless you in so many ways. What have you done? See, those things like that, a blessing here and there while we still asleep. Those little blessings like that, they come and they go. It's a test to see what you're willing to give up. Your time, you know, a lot of us sitting on thousands and a lot of us sitting on millions. And the poor folks sitting back wondering and saying the same old thing. Boy, it just it ain't fair. The rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poor. It's true. And it's going to always be that way because a lot of us is in a poor state of mind. Yeah, you're in a poor state of mind. That's why you're poor. That's why you don't have nothing. But let me tell you something. You walking around here and you ain't got nothing. You ought to be ashamed of yourself calling yourself a child of God. Because God's children are not poor in any way. Our health is not poor. Our spirits are not poor. We have money, plenty to eat, more than we can eat and feed our own immediate families. That's how God's children live. So if you ain't living like that, you need to examine yourself. Do you belong to him? Well, if you belong to him, stop saying you poor. Stop thinking poor. Don't accept it, because God's children are not poor in any way. You always have what you need and you always get what you want. But it's two sides. It's two sides to this game. A negative and a positive. A righteous, unrighteous. Rich, poor. Good health, bad health. Everything in this life has an opposite to it. For every yin, there's a yang. For every cause, there's an effect. And you hear about how people make deals with the devil. I'm trying to tell you, you got to make a deal with the Most High too. He will give you plenty. He will give you an abundance of. What you going to give him? Are you going to be the type of person that will give a lot in return for what he has already done? how he has sustained you thus far in your life. What are you willing to give him? Going to church on Sunday and Wednesday night is not enough. Anybody can do that. They don't even take effort. I'm talking about the type of things that take effort. The type of things that will take you from your personal comfort zone into his zone, where you heed his commands, where you do as he say do. A lot of us spending our money, our last penny, playing the lottery, trying to hit. But you got to understand one thing. When you belong to him, he ain't going to give you a lot because he already know you ain't going to do a lot. He already know what your heart is saying. He see it. He see your soul. You're not ready. He's not going to give you a lot because you ain't willing to do a lot. You're going to take your money from the lottery and you're going to do everything for yourself. You ain't going to bless nobody. You might bless a few people in your family, your immediate family. But how many people in your outside your family going to get a blessing that passed through your hands? That's why the rich keep getting richer, whether they righteous or unrighteous. Because the unrighteous people make deals with the devil. That's why they do a whole lot of unrighteous things to get unrighteous money, to get unrighteous material things. Those things are not going to last. And most of them that make deals like that, they already understand from the dough. There's an unrighteous, for your unrighteous deeds, for all the unrighteous money you got. The righteous God is going to reward you. He's going to give you the reward you deserve. And the other side of the game is if you choose to make a righteous deal. You can make righteous deals to do righteous. It ain't good enough to just give somebody some money. You ain't gave them no knowledge and no wisdom. You ain't told them they can get it for themselves. And a lot of us like that. We want to put on a facade when we get it, that we are somehow deserving because we this or we that. You ain't teaching. You ain't giving the truth. God's children don't borrow. They lend. But even lending money is not good enough. Then what? If I loan you some money, I'm going to tell you the truth and how to get out of that circle, that vibrational pattern where you always find yourself in the need to borrow. I will teach you how to be a lender, a survivor. That's what I'm here for. I'm not trying to discourage people from going to church if that's what you enjoy doing. I'm just opening your eyes up a little bit more to let you know that 66 books does not even begin to give him the justice he is due. We are not teaching the whole truth and nothing but the truth. We're not doing that. A lot of wealthy people go to big mega churches and they stand out. They are the only ones that can get into the pastor's little clique. They got everybody else in the church looking at them like they so much more, like they so much better. And you're on your way to hell. The hell that you are creating for yourself. God don't give you a lot for you to fake and shake with it. He don't give you a lot to do something here and there. This is a deal you got to do all the time. How many of us are praying for our ancestors that left here? I'm talking about the ones, even the ones that you know. Because if they didn't get the truth before they left here, they're still here. They need you. All of that's important. Because only the truth can set you free. And a lot of our ancestors left here, they didn't get the truth. They didn't have it. They didn't get it. It was closed off. So it's up to us to make sure they get it so they can ascend. That's why you feeling ghosts and spirits in your house. They're probably your ancestors letting you know, hey, they still alive. We don't die. Soul can't die. But when a soul is lost, it don't know how to ascend. It don't have the power to ascend. That's when we come in. We got to offer up prayers for them. We got to get them in a state where they can ascend. But you got to understand, that's why a lot of us are where we are. And I'm not boasting or bragging in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but I'm here to tell you, when I came into the knowledge of the truth, the real truth, when I realized that got to be more to him than 66 books. Got to be. He's too big. A creator. All the magnificent things he's created. Now, I'm not talking about these physical things you can see down here on the earth. I'm talking about those things up in the universe. The planets that we can't even see. The galaxy. The star systems that we can't even see. He did all of that. How he can change the weather conditions, the climates, rain, snow, sleet, tornadoes, hurricanes. The Bible tells us that the clouds are just the dust of his feet, and he has his way in the whirlwind, and he does. He's bigger than 66 books. So, if you're wondering why you're still struggling, you've been praying and you just can't seem to get out of that struggling mode, take a look at how much you've been giving out, because you're going to always get back what you put out. If you ain't putting out righteousness and truth, honor, praise, worship, if your body is not lined up, if you don't understand that the earth is moving, it's breathing, it's inhaling, it's exhaling, you got to learn how to move with God's frequency. There's nothing wrong with praying, but when you really want to communicate with him, you got to line up with how he move and shake. You know how you got to line up when you go to a new job? How you have to quickly change your mind. Even though you may know how to do what they're doing, but they're not going to do it the way you do it. That's all I'm saying. God is no different. We have certain ways that we like to do things, and God got a certain way that he do it all the time, the same way. He's been doing it for millions and millions of years. He ain't going to change his pattern. He's not going to come down off his high frequency for me, you, or nobody else. You got to learn to vibrate high. You got to get on his frequency. Going to church on Sunday and Wednesday night, you're not on his frequency. You got to make sure you got to clean out all the little crevices in your mind and in your heart, your soul. You got to clean house. Just like they prepared the temple. They use that as an example in the Old Testament. See how they prepared the temple? God wasn't coming down in that low frequency. They had to prepare the way. And when they got through preparing the way, what the words say, his train filled the temple. The veil was lifted. You got to prepare the way if you want the Most High to come in. If you want him to send you help, to open up your awareness, your consciousness. A lot of us are still in our subconscious mind. We live and breathe and move through that subconscious mind. But you gotta break through your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is with God. And when you realize that, and you take a journey in your conscious mind, then you can move the things that are conscious. You can move it into your subconscious mind. And from your subconscious mind, you can manifest it out. But a lot of us don't know how to move it from one mind to another. I can help you do that. But you're going to have to get out your ego. And I'm not going to take you too fast. I'm not the only one that know this. I had a master teacher that pointed me in the direction of the master teacher, God himself. So if you want to get out that rut, you got to know it's deeper than having money. It's way deeper than having money. Money can only do so much. It's just an energy. It's an energy. It vibes on a certain frequency and vibration as well. It moves in a circle of motion as well. Just like the sun and the moon circle the earth. Baby, money do the same thing. Everything God created does it the same way. I can't change it. You can't change it. But that's the reason why the Most High gave me this morning, or why a lot of us are not seeing change, the kind of change we want to see. You got to understand, it's a process. You got to get your house in order, your temple. You got to understand and respect all forms of living, breathing life. It's going to take you back to having that peace on your plate. You can't eat God's animals. You can't do it. That's why people are in a delusion when they go to a place they call the house of worship. They dance and they shout and they sing praises and all that. But I'm here to tell you, I don't care what any bishop say, any preacher say. I don't care what nobody say. I know for myself now, it's done in vain, because you'll get through doing all that stuff and you go back to your fellowship hall and you'll gorge on these beautiful animals that were slaughtered. You ain't got no peace. Now you're going to have to deal with indigestion. You're going to have to deal with a lot of things in your temple that temple's not pleased with what you put into it. You got to feed the temple of God. You got to feed that temple right. And you got to feed it righteousness. And you got to feed it peace. That's how you get it. You got to take care of your temple, and your temple will take care of you. And your temple will get you to a frequency that God is on. So that's my little 18-minute lesson today. I try to keep the 15-minute, y'all, but we're going to finish it up in another video. Like I said before, I try to keep all my videos short and sweet, just enough to get you thinking. And then I'll come again with something else. And every time, the hope is that somebody will benefit from it and start your journey. It's a beautiful life. God put everything here on this earth for us to enjoy and to have. But we got to get in control of our minds. We got to get in control of our temples so we can do things in moderation. And we won't overindulge, and we won't ever forget where all this goodness comes from. And I know a lot of us know this already. We know it on the surface, but to know it deep in the crevices of your temple and in your mind, you got to know how God works. And that's the fault of a lot of ministers, pastors, teachers, evangelists, whatever you want to call yourself. That's the fault, because they're not teaching you how to really communicate and live this life of abundance. I'm so glad that somebody told me, because I'll never be broke again. I'll never be poor. I can't be poor. I belong to him. It's an award. It's a reward for being righteous. It's a reward because I do a lot. Because a lot has been given. So I have to give a lot. So what you put out is what you're going to get back. You know, you work a lot, you got a lot of money. If you know how to use it, right? You know, you do for people, people going to do for you. That's just how it works, you know. So in saying that, y'all have a good Saturday and go out there and do a lot. To whom much is given, much is required. So do a lot, expect a lot. Get your heart and get your mind right. Get prepared for the abundance. That's another reason why we don't have it. We don't know how to prepare the way to receive it. You got to prepare the way so he can come in. And his train, hallelujah, his train is going to fill the temple. Y'all be good.